left off. So just realized that I should be using the lists box, not the disclosure dropdown. Okay, so I'm going to look at how to do this. So we're going to use collapsible list box. Here is our example. Right, this is exactly what we wanted. Okay, and then instead of disclosure, we're going to use so we're going to use collapsible list box and item, but I don't know if we'll actually use this item. Put it here temporarily anyway. Don't need this icon anymore. And yeah, I don't know how we're going to do this yet, but if we do, it'll be something like this. So we'll just keep it like this for the moment. It's me. Okay. Right. So what we want to know is, can we just pass all the items like this? And hopefully everything works fine. Otherwise, we have to use a custom one. So I want to know, what is the items prop? You can use items prop to provide options to list box. So either with an array of groups or an array of options. And then an option, we need the value and we need the text. So what I'm thinking is, hopefully we can pass to the list box, like the handling of change, things like this. So I think V model is going to be how we have our selected value, array of selected items for values, for multi-select, and selected item for a single select. Okay, so it's either an array or it's a single item. So that's fine, we can make it a string. Okay, so let's do this first. So we need items. So we can call this like list items, so it's a little bit clearer. And then the other thing, just copied, I can't remember what, V model. Call it selected list item. It should be at the top. Anything with a V should be at the top. Okay, and then hopefully we don't need this, so I'm going to get rid of it for now. And this could also be self-closing, hopefully. Okay, so for list items, we need the text and we need the value. So I'm going to recall this list items. We don't need the action anymore. And this is essentially the value, right? But we're going to rewrite how the value works. This value will be null. This value will be epic, right? Oh, that's clever. Epic. Cool. Right. So now we'll also have not a computer property, but maybe just data. Say like, I can't remember how this works. I think it's just like this. Return whatever we want. So this would be like selected item, selected list item. And we're going to put a default of null. And so it's either going to be null or it's going to be value, which is epic. So no grouping is the text here. Drop down label. Okay, this is going to be a little bit harder because we want this to scale, right? So we don't want it to be like, is the swim lane on or off? We want to know like, what is the value? And then assign the value with the with the text. So then what I'm thinking is, oh, okay, we can use this, we can use like list items. So list items is an array. And in this array, we want to find the one that has the value of value, right? So we can do, I think we can do find. Let's start list items find. Array dot find JavaScript. Yeah, it should give us back to our first one. So look at our item. Okay. So we're gonna look for the item that has the value equal to the selected list item. Okay, so that's going to find the object, and we want the label. So I think we can then do text. This works. Let's check it and see how it's going. Maybe it's magically working, maybe it's not. Okay, no grouping. Oh, what the fuck? So this is null, maybe? What is this? Weird. Okay, what if we make the value none? Actually, we don't want no grouping here. We want the value. Oops. Oh, edit board. Where's it going? Oh. Okay, well, we don't expect it to work because we need to update the toggle functionality, but at least this works. So, yeah. The label is a bit frustrating, right? Because you want to say epic or none. So if none, if null, then none, right? Or we just have the value as text to display, but that's not, we don't want that. Okay, so how about either we display what is selected, or if it's null, we say none. So we're going to check this. No, can't. Okay, maybe we can check it on a different example. I don't want to do it on GitLab because it's going to show some confidential issues. It's a different project. Okay, so it's either none or epic, and it's capitalized. Okay, good to know. So if I say null here, why is it not giving null as an option? So just going to read the docs again. No, this is combo box. This is what we want at all. All right, this is what we want. So what I want is null to be an option. No. Okay, we could just have string none as an option. That's okay. We could just have no value at all, I guess. So we need a value, we optionally have text. Okay, fine. None and epic, right? So we could also have in this list item like a selected, like instead of text, we can have like selected text to display. It's weird that it's different, but also like, I think this is okay. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add like text to display in case it's different. So like selected, what's it called? Toggle text? That's not right. It shouldn't be called toggle text. Okay. Toggle text. In this case, it's going to say like, no, not no grouping, but none. Yeah. And this is going to show the value. So what we're going to do is we're going to check for this. And if we don't have this, then we're going to just use the text. I think that's okay. So the drop-down label, what it should do is find the selected item. Okay. So we're going to do this. And then we're going to return either the selected toggle text or the text. Okay, so instead of using a variable, I'm going to use this. So now I'm going to return either the selected toggle text. I'm going to call this drop-down label. Yep. So now we're either going to give the drop-down label or the text. Makes sense. So we're going to get text and the drop-down label from the selected item, and then we're either going to give the drop-down label, which in this case should be none, or the text. And it's important that we just don't use this because it's not translated. This is translated. So if we turn it into German, it'll say like null, I guess. German's not very good. Yeah, okay. I'm happy with this. This is strange. I don't know why we have this here. I think we can just get rid of that. I think we can get rid of these. That's fine. Here are our list items now. We have a drop-down label. That's fine. We've got our list items. This is updating the selected list item when we select it. Now we're going to turn this into a label, assuming everything works so far. Great. No, it's not right. Epic should be the other way around. Ugh. How did I do that? Oh, I just. Okay. Might even just move these into a constants because then it'll be easier for testing. But I'll do that when we do testing. So none and epic. Cool. So the next thing I want to do is, all right, I'm going to rewrite the toggle information to make this work. Currently it doesn't work because it's expecting a toggle, right? So instead of a toggle, we're going to get the event, and what we want is the value. So then we can, no, we don't even need that. Because what we'll do is when we update, like on action, so we're going to say like action and action. Okay, we're going to have a new method called handle action. This will be the same one. Instead of on toggle, it's going to be this. But now we're going to get a we're going to get an event, but we could also track like what is the selected item by just looking at like this dot selected item list item, right? So this is what is currently selected. I'm just going to console it and make sure this works. So what I would expect to see is like epic. It's going to take a little. It's just going to update. So I'd expect to see epic, but it's not. So maybe we need to do, instead of action, it might be like on change, something like that. Could also, watch that value, or huh. Strange we don't have like so the main difference is how we pass information. It's good to know later. And what we want to do is like handle the action when this is changed. So we don't just want the value to change, but we want to do something when that value changes. So we could do a watch method that keeps an eye on the selected value, but I don't think that's correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for other examples of the collapsible list box and see how it's done here at select. Okay, that makes sense because this is a select. I've renamed this handle select. Ugh. Right, so now we should get none, great, and epic, cool. So now we know we have this as like what is currently selected. So what we need to do is track the toggle event. So we're going to track click toggle swim lanes button. Oh, this is might break it a little bit because it's not a toggle. Toggle's wrong. So that might need to be changed on Snowplow, but I'm gonna add someone in this team to ask for clarification or check it. Okay, so the label toggle swim lanes, that's fine. The property is either on or off. Ugh. Okay, so this selected item, if this is none, then it should be up. Oh gosh. So how did this happen before? Swim lanes should be active if epic is selected, right? That's my understanding. So we're just gonna double check this, how it was before. So on toggle, if swim lanes is on, then we're turning it off. Right? This turns it off. Oh, this is so strange. Because this is just an extension. This is one function. Is this called anywhere else? No. It's just one function. So I'm gonna clean it up too. Let's get rid of that. And put it into one function because it's the same thing. And here's an emitting event. So somewhere here, the board app is asking if the swim lanes are toggled on or off. So we can't change this name, or how this event works, right? We either need to say it's on or it's off, okay? And for the purpose of this, off means none is selected. On means epic is selected. Okay, so we're going to go back to this page. So now what we're doing is we still want to track. We still want to track when it's toggled, right? And when it's toggled, we need to know, is it being turned on or off? Yeah, this is messy now. But, so we definitely need to track this event and say if it's on or off. But we haven't updated it yet. Fine, that's fine. We're going to change that here. And we're going to ask someone to make sure it works, who can test it. So previously what it was doing is it was saying, hide this. Is it saying, it's saying like, was it previously on? Because it's going to be the opposite. So now it's off. Otherwise, yep. Cool. So this makes sense. So then if the selected item is none, then it's off. Otherwise, it's on. This is fine. Great. And now here's another track. It says, click toggle swim lanes button. This was clicked. Okay, fine. Yep. But this is tracked if the board has a swim lane active. Okay, if swim lanes are on, then, okay, maybe what we could do is, yeah, okay, sorry. What I'm going to do is I might name this at the start. What we're going to do is we're going to say const is swim lane on is equal to it's on if the selected item is not none, right? Cool. So now we're going to leave most of this the same because we're not going to rewrite this. I might even leave this for another change because this is it's too much. Like too many changes for one thing, one MR. Might do it. Fix it up in a separate MR. Sorry, I'm just going to pause. Hey, welcome back. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong screen. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions as we go. Hopefully, I can help. Okay. So what I was just doing is I want to rearrange all of this, rewrite it, but it's not in the scope of this issue. So I'm going to do it separately because it'll be easier to. We prefer smaller MRs because then it's easier to review and see what the actual changes are. So I'm not going to change any of this logic yet, but I'm going to put a note to say like we should rewrite this because it's not good. So when we say handle select, it's the old on toggle. Excuse me. We need to replace this. Cool. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to say is swim lanes on or off? Because we're changing the logic. We're changing this to be upgradable in the future. But all of our tracking is set up to say oh my gosh, that it's either on or off. So this here also, we're going to have to invert this, right? Because this original on toggle assumes we haven't updated is swim lanes on or off yet, or on or off yet, and I don't know why. But this toggle swim lanes, it should be the one that updates is swim lanes on. That's my understanding. Otherwise, where is swim lanes on? It's coming as a prop. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it's coming as a prop, and then the parent updates it. Okay, so all right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to update swim lanes. No. Oh my gosh. So this function here, toggle swim lanes, this is what turns it on or off. So we're going to revert all of this. On toggle. Actually, what we could do is we could have a handle select, and if it means that, so what we're going to do is we're going to say like if the selected value is different to the old value, no. Okay, so we're going to have an event. All right, so we're going to see like it loads or not, right? Sorry, that's bad wording. I want to know when this runs. Like, has it already updated the selected item or not? So I'm going to check for the selected item, and I'm going to check for e value, e dot value. I'm just going to look at e because I don't know what format this is coming in. So when I handle select, I'm going to look at has the selected item changed yet or not, and what is the event? Because what I want to know is has this been updated? Is it different? because if it's different, then it's toggled, right? Okay, so it's only running on select if we change it. If we don't change it, it's not doing anything. Okay, that's great. So we could leave this on toggle. And it's going to work the same, I think. Better because you can't just select none again and have something happen. Oh my gosh, look at this. Works. It's the opposite. It's doing the opposite, but it works. So that's good. So when we reload the page, none is selected. When we change it to epic, then we toggle. But if we toggle to epic and it's in the URL, then what is selected is given us to us in the URL. Okay, so maybe we can read this from the URL. Now how was this doing this last time? Because this functionality already existed, right? Not that anymore. Yeah, so what I want to know is here, when we say epic, and then we refresh the page, is grouped by epic? It is. How? How? Probably from the parent, right? Because we've got this props. So, okay, so we're going to use this to get our selected item. So if swim lanes is on, oh my gosh, this is not ideal. If swim lanes is on, this, then selected item is epic. Else it's okay, now it should work. Epic, none. And nothing changes when you select it, so great. All right, cool. So another question I have is, should we have this, should this be controlling the V model? Is the V model useful? I'm not sure. If we don't have it, then we need to tell it like if it's on or off anyway. Which will say like the selected. This is probably the best way to do that. So the way we're doing it is we're saying if swim lane is on, then epic is selected. And if it's not, none is selected. And this can change when it's updated, if it's updated. I still want to do this, but I still want to move this out of the way. Yeah, that's fine. And then, so for this drop-down label, we still need to know this. So this still works. List items work. Yeah, I think all these things are fine. So now the toggle works as before because when we're selecting something, we're just toggling it on or off. So this is a little bit messy, but I think it's okay because in order to fix it, what we need to do is change this from a toggle to a value. We'd also have to change the parent, which is beyond the scope of this migration. So I'm going to migrate it like this. I'm going to write very clearly in the merge request. I'll do this while you're here, so you can see. I'm also going to replace this label, make this to be a label. And what you saw before when we talked about gosh, I can't remember. This is toggle ID. This is something we need to read on how to do because it's a little bit confusing. Toggle ID. So we need this. I'll show you why this is important. But I'm going to find another example of how it's done in the code base. Yeah, this is what we want. Makes sense in a minute. So what unique ID is going to be able to do is generate unique ID for the dropdown. So we're going to use it like this. So now when we use unique ID, I think we make it as a data. Yeah, just in the data. So in data, we're also going to return dropdown ID. Okay, so now we can use dropdown ID, which will start with this, and we can say that this label is for B4. No, not B4, just for this. And we'll give this we'll give the list box an ID of the dropdown ID. Okay, and then we'll replace this with GL label. We'll import GL label. We'll assume I've done it right, and if it doesn't work, we'll fix it. So now this label is for the same dropdown. So now when the screen reader says like, what is this? We know it's got a label of group by. Okay. Great, and we'll just make sure that looks as expected. I can't see it at all, so it's probably not. Maybe it's just loading. Okay, cool. I've done some wrong things. I don't know how GL label works. That's the wrong thing. All right, we need to give it a title. So we can look at its props and see like what is needed. It needs a background color? No, surely not. Why would it need a background? Oh, this is a label. It's like an issue label. It's not like a accessibility label. Yeah. Okay, maybe so if we have like, oh man, I don't know. So if we search for this, then we're searching for like unique IDs, right? And I want to know, how does this label? It's just a normal label. It's not a GL label. All right, well, that's easier. I wonder if there would be any value to having a GitLab label. Probably not. All right, so now we have group by. Okay, so it's styled weird because we've changed something. We changed it from a span to a label. And this has a special class. Why does it have a special class? It shouldn't. There's no, it's not referencing anything, so we're going to get rid of that. And if it's for a test, we're going to replace it with something a bit more usable. So this has, so we're going to replace this label with span with label, right? It's just not ideal. Because GL dropdown, I don't think is going to exist now. Yeah, this is GL new dropdown button text. I don't think it's going to say like GL dropdown. So then whatever this is doing isn't going to work anymore. So this is GitLab width full. So we can look on this handy page. You have to make sure you update latest version. This is width 100%. 100% of what? Okay. So before the span, the drop down, and the drop down toggle were all 100%. What is this? Up to the top. We don't want any of these things because we want it to automatically center. We don't want to have a margin. All right, I might just get rid of these. Try start again. Let's see if we can do it just using cutting out some things that might not need to be there. What is this drop lab? Drop down? No, it's not us. All right. So get rid of those. I'm going to get rid of any other custom CSS. This shouldn't give us anything else because I just deleted it. Oh, I deleted it before. This is what I'm looking for. We're going to have to update all these tests. That's fine. Because it should be using the test ID. Yeah. Okay. So now what we have to do is we want this to be centered. So we can look at how this div is centered, and we can probably just use the class from this. So this is a class GL toggle label. I don't think this is a this doesn't sound like a standard. No, it's not. Oh gosh. Okay. I'm gonna try to pretend I didn't read that. So I just want this label to be centered. Okay, so this is the container. And it has GitLab Flex. So now what we should be able to do is like center self on group by. So I think this is centered anyway. And this has displays flex. So now on this label, we should be able to do something like center self. 52 of these options. So this aligns the values, means the children are aligned. So if we give to replace this, then we have GitLab Flex Center. And this includes display flex. So I want to know what is GitLab medium display flex. It's a medium breakpoint. Okay. I don't care about that. So this has display flex and like center horizontally and vertically. So now we have to refresh to see the result of the CSS. No. So this is the parent and it should like center the children, but it's not. So we're going to have a look at like what else is here. What is it doing? Line height. Okay. So white space, no wrap. I don't know what this is doing. I don't think it's doing anything. No. Okay. So this says like the children should be aligned. They're not. I think we can do like align self. Center. Okay. If that's the center, it's still a problem. Especially if that's the center. Okay. This says GL, align items center. Maybe we can replace this with GL align item center. That doesn't make a difference. This label, I'm going to try add it to this label. What? gosh, I've messed something up. I'm just gonna start again. We tried this one. It's already got flex. I mean, it's not doing anything anyway. Yeah, we know if we align self center does do something, but it's not the center. So maybe we need to do like justify self. Yeah, that's the end, but that looks like the middle to me. This is the center and that's the end. What is this? It's not the end of it. Okay, maybe it needs like a height 100%, right? So if the height is 100%, now we'd expect to be in the center. But the height isn't 100%. It's got this like padding or something at the bottom. This is what's messing us up. Where is that coming from? Oh, it's like a built-in bootstrap thing. Okay, so we're gonna override, instead of trying to get it to center, we're gonna override the padding bottom and say 0. So I don't know if we need this or not. I'm gonna leave it for now. GL, I think padding 0. I think that's how we do it. GL padding 0. Yeah. Okay. No. Okay, we've got no padding at least. We might need like a height of 100%. Auto? Is auto 100%? No? Oh, well, that's not 100% still, is it? It's still got this margin bottom. Oh, it's margin, it's not padding. Okay, 0. Okay. So it is the whole height. So now if we say center yourself, or we say in the parent, like center the children, it's probably maybe more accurate. What do we use for center? It's flexible. So then we could also, I think we can also get rid of this. Okay, now it's centered. Great, great. I don't know what MD does again. I've already forgotten. Oh, it's got this breakpoint. So we'll leave that. Yeah, this works. Cool. You know, maybe technically it just needs like the line. Maybe it just needs this. Yeah, like slightly less TFS on there. This is already in here. So I'm going to put it at the end so it doesn't look like it's added. And these are already in here as well. Okay, fine. Okay, it still looks good to me. And then I don't know about this stuff. Bold, line height normal. No margin. I added this. Yeah, I think this is okay. All right, so now we have our button, which has an ID of drop-down toggle button 44, and the label uses drop-down button 43. But we only run this one time. How do we do this? How do we use it? Let's look at another example. Toggle ID is this unique ID, and then where are we using this toggle ID? We're using it in the drop-down and in the tooltip. Okay. Why they're different? What does this say? ARIA controls base drop-down 46. ARIA labeled by 44. What does this have? Okay, I don't know. Oh, this is the class. Sorry, the div that has the whole thing. So just need to know where this should go, and it can only go here, so I'm going to leave it here. Yeah, I think this works. I don't know if we need this, but I'm leaving it. Just out of interest, see what happens if we remove it. Ideally, we want to remove anything that we're not using. Okay, there's no padding now. So it was doing something. What is that? Margin left, that makes sense. What about this? Why is this a normal line height? Why is it important? What is your inherited line height? This is for the toggle class. Which, does it even exist in this box? I don't know. If you're watching and you have any ideas, let me know. Yeah. Okay. Strange. So it wants to make sure that these items in here have a normal line height. I'm going to check to see where this is found. Okay, this is an ounce. This is something else. Oh. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I don't know what it does, but it looks like it's being used. I want to know, is it used in this list box? So within this parent, I want to do like find within. No, I can only do find. And also, it's not picking up this exclamation point, so I don't think it's used here. We're just going to check and make sure. No. Okay, great. That. Okay, so we're going to label. Everything still works, right? Nothing. Yeah. And then all our tests will be broken, so we're going to fix the tests next. So we've got rid of our our excessive CSS, which we didn't need, which is good. The less CSS we have in here, the easier it is to read, so that's good. Yeah, great. I think everything here is needed now, except maybe this, but it's fine. All right, so we're gonna, yes, because I removed this board swim lanes, I removed the only reference to this. So I'm going to remove the class. I'm just going to make sure it's not used anywhere else. Oh, come on, why isn't this working? Yeah. So we're at least going to have to update these tests. I'm going to just do that now. So it's expecting to not have the CSS of this, but I'm going to change that to the ID, the data test ID, right? For either this data test ID or the label. So this has toggle wrapper, and this says toggle wrapper. So instead, I'm going to look for this test ID. I don't know how to write that, so I'm going to look for an example. To have test ID. These are all tests. This might not work because like Ruby on purpose is testing the like what's visible and the test ID is not visible. So this technically is visible, but what we'd rather do is search for like group by, because this says does not show group by dropdown when user is not logged in. So we want to say like the page should not have group by. And the only way it's going to have group by accidentally is if it's in the text, which is very unlikely. So we're going to say text. I think that's okay. Yeah. This filtered search block, we haven't touched this. So we're just going to replace like these sorts of things. Oops. Then instead of saying, yeah, you know. So this already says not to. Should I have a, no, so semicolon. Yeah, and then maybe we could also use like the translation. So if we see like here, it's using like the translation instead of the actual, which is good. We should be doing this. Just going to find a replace. Okay, so now there were some more places that was mentioned. So selected epics within, oh my gosh. We can use the data test ID, yeah. Because this is like searching within the element. So instead of this, it's going to use this. That's the label. Within toggle swim lanes. Okay, I just changed something. Yeah. So within data test ID, these aren't going to work anymore, I think. So we'll have to change that. We'll change it when we get there. Okay, instead of toggle dropdown, it's going to be like the new versions, which is probably not called that. Oh yeah, base dropdown toggle. Just looking for the class of dropdown toggle, which I don't think this has. No, it has GL new dropdown toggle. It's easy enough. I think that was somewhere else also. Yeah, and then we'll also have to change dropdown item to new GL dropdown. Right? And I think these are fine. Now we'll run these tests. Run it locally before we push. Okay, so the way we do that is we say bin/r spec some Ruby tests, and we give it the path. That ran. Yeah. No example found. Run Ruby tests. Okay. Sure it's the right term. Yeah. Bin RSpec. Same. Yeah, there's no way it ran it that fast, but just in case, let's make it sure it fails. Yeah. So it's not running, and it says no examples found. I don't understand why. What if we could just use the name? Okay, so now it's looking for the name. Okay, that's not right. I thought it would search for the name. It's fine. It should work. It's taking longer now, so maybe it works. I don't know how it's different to what I wrote before. The main thing is it runs. So hopefully this all passes. Yeah, I'd like to start on the draft MR. So I'm just going to push the changes on a commit, and then I'll update the test separately. So I'm just going to call this migrate. Drop down to combo the list box. That's fine. Yeah, I want to push because I want to get started on the merge request because there's a few funny things in there that I want to fix. Oh, like make sure people are aware of. I'm going to name the file that we changed. No, I'm not. I do have a before video. I'll have to do it after one. start with like what this does is it grabs the drop down in file. Right. So we also want to say, in addition to that, it's doing some things in addition to that. It's cleaning up, so changing the state. So changes the selected state. Changes the selected state of the dropdown from a toggle, from a Boolean toggle to to a saved string. To a string. Right. I don't think this is true. Actually, I think we change that so then there's no two sources of truth. Yeah. And then we have this selected list item. And it's not really a source of truth. It's just for naming this, and we're not updating it with a value. Oh, we are. Yeah. I don't know. If we get rid of this model, now like it has no state. It's just its parent handles it. And the only thing it knows is like the drop-down label. So then we can get rid of this as well, or we can incorporate it into here. So the way we'd do that is we'd say like, yeah, we'll just label it here, like const selected item is and it's on. Now the label checks to see like, okay, is swimlanes on or off? Yeah, I think this works. So we don't have a value. We only have is swimlanes on or off. I think this is more correct. Oh, something changed there. No, I think we do need to have that V. Because otherwise it doesn't know which is selected. I'm just going to undo this. Yeah. Okay, because if the dropdown doesn't know which is selected, it can't have the tick. Yeah, cool. So in MR, oh, sorry, the test did finish and passed. That's great. I want to run each of the tests. So this was board spec. So now we want to do epic swim lanes. Maybe I'm getting something wrong. Right. So this amount changes the selected state of the dropdown from a Boolean toggle to a string value. It seems like the toggle logic will need to be changed when more options are added, but left the toggle logic as is for now. Yeah, this is a bit confusing, so I just want to spell it out. So, yeah. Parent component stores the value of the selector list box as oh, we've got some values. Great. Just going to finish this thought. It stores it as what? It's even in the name of the file, toggles epics. The parent component stores the value of the list box as where if epic is selected, it's true, right? Where epic is selected, is swim lanes on is true. Very confusing. I don't know why this is looking like code, but the others are not. Yeah. Okay. So we also just need to make sure we tag someone from this team to make sure that the toggle tracking events still work, but I'm sure they will. All right, so we had some failures on this test. So we're going to bring up the test. Okay, first failure is very strange. Let's have a look at the screenshot. Okay, this looks fine to me. Unable to find the CSS toggle swim lanes. So it should be this one. Oh, because it's asking for the CSS. Yeah, I think actually. Why this doesn't work? Within, page within, what was it before? Oh, it was just, yep. So what I want is like a page within. Within anything. I need to escape these characters. Invalid escape. Oh. Okay, this is how you're supposed to do it. Page within, and then exactly what I did. The only difference here is quotation marks, which surely is not a thing. Yeah, this should be fine. Works here. And it is toggle swim lanes. I haven't spelled it wrong or something. No. Still failed. You can see it there, so it's obviously exists. In the HTML, we have data test ID, toggle swim lanes. Can't find it. Page within. What did I just change? Okay, so this is like the instructions on how to write tests effectively, and this is what we're doing. Page within, data test ID. All right, I'm just going to copy all of this. Replace upline multi-action with this. And the difference here is this is like removed, but this is single quotations, so it should be the same. Shouldn't be any problem here. This time we're just going to run the one test. Yeah, this is a strange error. This is the error that we're trying to understand. Okay, so I'm just going to try to run one of the lines that failed. Instead of running everything. It's a 59. I don't know if you can see this. I think we can just do 59. Big. I know, colon. Following this example. I'm really not sharing my screen. What was that for? Okay, just gonna keep going. Let me know if you have any questions. Looking for any tests anytime we have any other time we're using the same thing. And the test we're running is the Epic one, right? Yep. Well, let's just check if this one works. It's very similar. This is a helpers. Yep. All right. So I'm gonna open my draft merge request. Just so I can see the changes here. It's a bit easier. Okay, we failed, but I think it's going to be the same problem. Oh, I did click on it this time. So maybe it's a new problem. Maybe it didn't like how we wrote it here. I think it didn't like how we wrote this. I was looking for the text epic, which it should see epic. Okay. Yeah, this should still work. Just make sure I can find it edge now. Yep. Here's our text, but where is the content? Yeah, epic. Where's the card? So what is surrounding this text? This. Why? I think it's a wrapper. Just read the error message. Yeah. This was right. See if my fix is also correct. Yeah, this is a good sign. Things are passing. There's only these two tests anyway, I think. So because one of them is a helper for the tests. Hopefully all our tests will pass. They'll run on the merge request anyway. Take a minute. We've got the JavaScript tests to do as well. Yeah, that should have been fix the Ruby tests. So JavaScript tests are also going to be broken. Start on that now. So the test is going to be called the same thing, except it's going to be called like spec. So we'll run this one in JavaScript, which is yarn jest, and then fix our failures. Cool. So it looks like only one failure. It emits toggle swimlanes event on select group by epic. So we're going to find the toggled items. Yeah, and I'll have two. And then the first one, props is checked, should be false. So this is not correct. I don't even know what this would do. Maybe it has selected. I'm not sure. It's not sort of a HTML natural selector. So I don't know what props it would have to say it's selected. We can look. So I want to use our Vue Dev Tools here. So I was told you can select a component like this. Oh, incredible. Okay, so its props are is selected, true. So instead of this, should just be is selected. Right, and then anything else that's also called the same thing? No, it's just one. Then, so we expect the first one to be not selected, and then we want to click on it. And then we expect this to have been found. So we want to make sure like we're finding these. This isn't going to work anymore because it's a drop down. It's we're not rendering. We're not using drop down items. So now this is going to look different. I'm going to search for like text because maybe it's going to be somewhere else also. No. Might be like drop down items. How does this do it? So this is looking for the drop down items. We want something that has been migrated and hopefully doesn't actually use any drop down items. But maybe we should be looking for collapsible list box. Yeah, so this is finding the list box. So surely there's something that's also finding the like the items rendered by the list box. So here, yeah, that's weird. Okay, let's find another example. It's similar. Yeah. All right. Let's go back to what we're doing. So instead of finding the items, how should we be doing this? Oh, this is selecting. This is just finding the parent and then selecting the specific one. That'll do fine, actually. Yep. So we're going to find the list box. Just going to dump this here for now because I'm going to copy this. Where's our test gone? Huh. Okay, and I want to copy this. And then when I use this, when I call here, instead of clicking, I'm going to say this. Okay, so we're going to find the list box. We're going to expect two length. That's not right. We're going to expect like two things. Going to expect props called item to be equal to this. Yeah. So we're expecting the value to be this, which is really dumb. But it might be the only way we can do this. Yeah. So another way we could do this is like by getting the items from the actual view component, but it's pretty, I don't know, it's not great. We can just say like we expect the items list to have a length of 2. That's all it said before. Yeah, let's do that. So now what we want to do is we want to say to have a length of 2. Yeah, that's doing the same thing now. Cool. Great. And then this says at 1, so its first child has the prop to be selected to be false. And we're going to select it. And then we're going to say, we're going to move it to epic. So by default, the first one is selected, which is none. So I don't know why this is saying there. So we can have a look in Tanuki project, where I would expect the first item to be not like is selected to be false, but Maybe something's happened already. I don't think so. Swim lanes is on. Okay. So we're starting off by saying this is true, I guess. Where are we? Okay. False by default. Cool. So swim lane's on, false, which means we'd expect the first one to be no grouping. But why does this test pass? Unless we change something I didn't realize. Yeah, this is the same. Is selected, is checked, false. All right, we're going to see if this works. So instead of finding and selecting this, we're just going to run this like emit select. Okay, so now we have the same three things. First one, we have two items. Second thing is the first item at one, so it's the second. Fuck me. Is false. And then we're going to select epic. And then we're going to expect toggle swim lanes to have a length of 1. Why? Why? We're going to expect that this has been admitted. Yep. All right. Let's see if it works. Didn't work. This one. At must be called on a wrapper array. This is not a wrapper array. Oh no, it's not anymore. Yeah. So we want to look at like its first child, because this now we're looking at the parent, right? Okay, so I guess we could do like props items, and then look at the first item in there, right? So then it would say like we're going to look at props items. And then we're going to look at like the second item. And then not only checked, but we're going to say like to be, we'd expect this to be I don't know. We expect the props to be is selected, false. And we expect the value or something here to be like the word epic. Data, queries, what the fuck? Where is the word epic? I don't know. Okay, I guess. So then props, items 1 to be, to have is selected, false. How do we say that? Is contained, like contains. So we want guest view testing. Guest testing, I think. Instead of to be, we want to say like object to contain. So this is match object, and this is object containing. Or instead of to be, we want contain. What we want it to contain is like is selected false. Okay. Now we want props. The first item in those props, the prop of items, and then the first thing in that items. Expect object containing is not it's not a function. This is. Um, okay. Match object. Expect object containing object. Oh, this is hard to read. Yeah, is this not what we're using? How is it not a function? Why we're getting this error? I need to add a compare. Oh, to equal, expect to equal, expect the object containing what? It's weird. I think this is going to find that object. It's a little weird. Let's see if we're using it elsewhere in our code base. All right, cool. So if you're only interested in some of the props, you can use to match object. Prefer to match object over. Yeah. So we prefer to use match object, which will be exact. Okay, so at least this will work. So it's fine, but it's not ideal. And that's okay. We don't need it to be ideal. We need it to be fine. So I think this is saying like expect to match. This is going to return us an object, the whole thing. Okay, expect to match is not. Okay, something's wrong. I've got an extra parenthesis here. No. To equal. Still fail. Okay, cool. We got something at least. Okay, so this is the items prop. Oh my gosh. Yep. Okay, actually, maybe We can just do like this. Is selected should equal none. And no. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So this list box, does it have a prop of telling us like what is selected? These are the items. What I want to know is like, can it tell us what is selected? This selected is none. Selected is none. So we're going to have a list of 2 items. We're going to say the prop selected is equal to none string, and then we're going to say let's change it to epic, and then we're going to assume that this wrapper, this event was emitted. Great. Oh fuck yeah. Woohoo. Cool. Okay. Fix JS component test. Code. Great. So now I'm going to push it. I'm going to take a break, and hopefully in that break, all of the pipelines will run, and hopefully they'll all pass. And we've already mostly written the MR, so hopefully we'll be good to go. We'll need to add this, but that's okay. It's very easy. We're going to do that now. So in the validation instructions, we're just going to say oh my gosh, into my project. Example. That's it. And I've done this. I know what they are. I don't need to read them again. Done enough. I'm not saying just tick it. I'm saying like read it. I'm also saying I read it before. I know what's on there. Okay, cool. So now we've still got 2 commits. Not quite right. It takes a little while to update. Don't worry about it. But it's suggested like who's going to review this. So we've got front end, back end. Because this is in Haml, we have front end and back end. And for the tests, luckily this is the same person because we changed the feature test. And I'm also going to get a user designer in here, and a UX designer, and I'm also going to get someone from this team. Now, this is some useful stuff. How do we find out who owns this? Because this is Foundations just because it's a migration, but Foundation doesn't own this this page. Who does is probably the person who's like the team that this person is involved in, because this is the merge request that set this up. And this says group product planning. So here is our team. So I'm gonna, okay, this maybe the team name has changed. We can also fix that link, I guess. All right, I should go into this page. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pick someone here in the front end, I think, to test the. Oh, is this the same person who set it up? Maybe. Yeah, great. Okay, we're going to tag them. we're going to ask them to, where is our, okay. And they're a front end, so oh great, well she's good with CSS also, so hopefully she can help us with these changes, because I changed the CSS considerably. Great. Now we've got our 3 commits. We've got cut out CSS, we've added new CSS, updated our tests. I think this is fine. I'm going to do like a self-review before I tag anyone. I just want to draft this. So I'm going to ask them to do a front-end review and also left the tool logic same so that tracking should be unchanged. Just going to add this to the end. Yeah. Okay. And then I'm going to tag Kasha and just Kasha actually, because it's suggested Kasha for both testing and backend. And then I want a designer to go through this. So I'm also going to look at this team and find, so if we can find the designer, no designer in this team. That's fine. We can just use, again, the roulette. So roulette. And we're going to find a UX designer. Yep. So we're going to tag Alex, FRAC. FRAC. Should have paid attention to the AFRA. So I'm also going to say what I changed in the UX review. Should be the same, except the previous version, the toggle is toggled, I don't know, activated on click of any option. Now it's only activated when selecting a different option to what is already selected. I hope that makes sense. Okay, cool. So that's ready to go. I'm going to do a self-review first. I'll do that while you're here. Why not? So we deleted some CSS, but I'm pretty sure we deleted every, reference to the CSS. We're going to verify that in the code base. Oops. By searching for it. Yeah, it doesn't exist. So it's fine to delete it. Okay, and then here, oh, okay, so we also need to say we also changed the, I just realized the backend reviews there because of the Ruby test. That's all. Anyway, change the span to be a label for the drop down. Cool. Okay. Might just link to this stream as well. I'm going to add that as a comment separately. Anyway, so we also added the label. Yep. Is this needed? I think so, because we need to give this a V model, and it can have like which is toggled, but it's not a toggle, so it's going to be weird. So I think this is fine. And then here, do we need this? Like we kind of do. And I think it's okay for this to be stored here. Yeah, this is pretty clear. The list items. Okay, so then here, getting rid of this. The important things are we're removing this CSS. We're keeping this. We're keeping all of this. We're just getting rid of this. And what it did was made the height automatic. Change the margin bottom, which we're doing manually anyway. For these spans, we made it full width, which it doesn't need, I think. Maybe it does. So if we change the width to 100%, does this change anything? No. But I do remember, like, if we just compare the original again. Yeah, this does change width anyway, so I think it's fine. That was my only concern, just this changing of the width. I think we're good. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Okay, we don't need these. Cool, and this is margin top 2. That's to center it, but we're centering it differently anyway, so that's fine. Now, with this, we'll turn this into a label, keeping all of this anyway, I think. Adding no margin at the bottom, we're removing this, keeping this, keeping this, keeping this. Cool, cool, cool. This is, oh, that's the same. We've already done that. Okay, we got rid of our dropdown, which had the text of dropdown label. Now has toggle text as a class. That's the same toggle class. We removed this because it wasn't doing anything. Don't need it now. We're saying right still. I don't know if this does anything really. I don't know. So in the overview, in the dropdown, in the original dropdown, you say on the right, there's a Boolean, and what I want to know is, can we still do this on the list box? Is it actually doing anything or not? No, I don't think it is. Positioning strategy. Okay, so we're going to get rid of right. Okay, and we'll continue reviewing this. So this doesn't do anything, so we're going to get rid of it. So here we're just changing, instead of using this class, we're using the data test ID. That makes sense. We're just going to change the name of this class, which isn't, it's not ideal. It's fine. So we're looking for the text here instead of the CSS, so that's good. That's all useful. So here we're replacing the toggle items with the list box. Right, so then instead of looking for the items to have a length of 2, we're looking for the prop items to have a length of 2. Fine. We're looking for the one at number 1 to be selected. So we're looking at the collapsible list box. We're looking at what is selected, and the value is none. I think that makes sense. Should be fine. And here we're selecting epic. We want it to call it toggle as expected. And here we're just renaming the same. Okay, cool. So the only thing we're going to change is remove this right. I'm just going to make sure it doesn't actually do anything. This looks the same, doesn't it? Yep. What did it do before? What is right? On right edge. What? What's the normal? Oh, that's okay. That's fine. Okay. Remove unused prop. All right. So now we're going to push again and then ready to ask for reviewers. I'll link to this MR so you can follow as you wish. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna also assign. Again, you don't have to do this. You can just take the GitLab bot and we'll do it for you. I'm going to assign the reviewers. If and then I'm just going to post in the. Sorry, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to was created. Almost finished. Okay, cool. We're done. Thanks for joining today. Yeah, that's all I got. If you've got questions, if you want to do another one of these, let me know. I'll assign you one. There's a lot of easier ones. So yeah, cool. Thanks for joining.